Good afternoon. Welcome to this live session. Apologies, last week we had a couple of glitches with our live sessions, but we are back up and running, and it feels really strange here because I'm doing it from the studio and I've not done that for quite some time. So just saying hello. Hi Carolyn, hi Pierre, hi Frank, hi Sean, hi Mary. We're going to kickstart in a few minutes. It does feel very strange for me. If you've watched these before, for the last few months, I've been doing them at my desk. And I said to the team here, let's just do it in the studio. I've not been in the studio for a while, so I thought, I'm here, I'll do it. So welcome everybody. Hi Alexander, hi Rick, hi Simon, hi Shad. We'll start in about 2-3 minutes. I just want to let everybody get in. You know how it works with live, there's a delay that people get notified. Hello, Luke. So we will jump in a second, just to say, right, and this is the important thing, and on the footer here is our email address. So you'll see our email address on the footer, on the little strip below me. If you want a copy of the slides today, there's quite a few slides with some examples on. If you want to copy the slides or you want to know how to implement this, drop us an email, send us an email. In other words, go to your email server or your email platform and type in and send me, our team, Maverick, an email, hi@maverick.io. We'll send you the slides, but we'll also give you the opportunity, if you want to know more about how you can build your personal brand. So drop us an email if you want a copy of the slides. Okay, afternoon Helen, afternoon Georgia. Let me just say hello to people on YouTube. I'm just getting used to this new setup. I'm out of practice with this. Hi Purple Reset, hi Vasco, hi Linda, hi Alpha Design, hi Catherine. I've said that, Catherine, I think. So this is awesome. Right, so let's just get started. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Dean Seddon. I'm the CEO and founder of Maverick. I started this business as a solopreneur, and it's scary some days how big it's become. I started this, why am I telling you this? First of all, I want you to know who you're talking to. So I'm not just some person who's downloaded something off the internet to share with you. Hi Adam, hi editor, hi Lee, hi Madeline. Right. So I'm going to teach you what I implement, what I do for myself. So that's why I'm telling you a bit about myself. And also, so hopefully you get to know me. Come find me on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and that QR code is my LinkedIn profile. So I started the business with no venture capital, no small loan of $1 million. And we're the largest independent social selling and LinkedIn coaching business now in Europe, probably, maybe even the world. The golden rule is we teach what we do. And I've spoke at LinkedIn on some of their events as well, which was very kind of them. So Maverick's mission, help 1 million businesses grow. And I'll share this with some people maybe in other sessions. But our business model is basically, it's based on what we teach. In the theory that if we help a lot of people, we'll build our brand, we'll add value to other people's businesses, and some of those people, a percentage of those people, will come back and ask for our help. And that's our business model. And that's the business model that we teach other people. That if you go onto social media, if you go onto online platforms and you actually implement a DIY, a try and buy business model, you can actually really engage and build a profitable business. And we're going to show you how you can build a profitable personal brand today. So that's who we are. So here's what we're going to cover today. What makes a profitable personal brand on LinkedIn? What is a vanity brand on LinkedIn? Why you should build your personal brand around Biomotivations. They're the most important things. And then 5 keys to your personal branding success. So hi Beverly, hi Alison. So this is the key of what I'm going to cover. Some of the stuff here, I'm not going to have tons of time to run through because this is an hour session. And if you're joining us on YouTube, please do ask questions, come find me. I'm just going to make this full screen so everybody can see it and you don't see the weird Adobe stuff. There we go. right? Please ask questions on LinkedIn, YouTube, or wherever you're watching, and I will intermittently, when I look over here, I can actually see your chat. So if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. Happy to come to those as we go. So please do ask questions. Okay, so what is a profitable personal brand? That's the first thing we need to know. We need to understand what is a profitable personal brand, because if you don't have a profitable personal brand, that can be a problem. So what's profitable personal brand? Here we go. It gives you an awareness advantage. That's the first thing, right? A personal brand gives you an awareness advantage. In other words, people know you for something. It's not just people know you for something. It elevates your expertise in the customer's world over and above your competitors. It reduces, and this is really important, if you're, let's say for an example, you're watching me today and you're not a salesperson. Now, a personal brand is brilliant for a salesperson, but what if you're not a salesperson? One of the things that a skill of salespeople is to persuade and help people see that this product or service is a good choice, is the best choice. It's a skill salespeople have. And if you're not a natural salesperson, you don't feel comfortable in a sales environment, a personal brand will reduce the perceived risk and increase confidence and trust in you, which means you don't have to do as much sales work. Yeah, it differentiates you from the rest of the market, and it supports a higher price point. So if you are perceived as the go-to expert in your customer's world, the price point you can command is higher. Now, notice what I said there. If you are perceived as an expert in the customer's world, not everybody's world, but we'll get to that later. So if you are perceived in the customer's world as an expert, as the go-to expert that they trust, that they see as different and have more expertise over and above the competitors in the space, and you've been known by them for something specific, you're going to have a profitable personal brand. So the people who do invest in a profitable personal brand do command higher fees. It's just the nature of the beast. Because more people see them as more credible, and you give people certainty. In a sales environment, people are buying an outcome. They're buying a destination they're trying to achieve. And if you're trying to use your personal brand to sell your services, whether it be a coach, a consultant, a marketing freelancer, a social media marketer, whatever it is, if you're trying to do this on LinkedIn, you want to be seen as credible and being able to give certainty so that people trust in you to deliver and help them achieve an outcome. So it is easier to justify a higher price, because part of a personal brand, the makeup of a personal brand on LinkedIn, is giving people confidence in what you do, giving people certainty in what you do. So a profitable personal brand is multifaceted, but it's actually about bringing certainty to people about outcomes you can help them achieve or deliver. So what's a vanity brand? What's a vanity brand, right? I'll just see if there's any questions in the chat. Yes, Death Before Decaf. This video will be uploaded to YouTube to watch later. If you want a copy to the link, email us hi@maverick.io, send us an email. By that I mean physically send us an email, and we will send you the replay link and the slides and some extra resources I'm going to give to you as part of this session. So listen out, because I'm going to offer you some free resources as well. So a vanity brand basically has all the kind of external appearance of a profitable brand, but behind the scenes gets nada or very little. So vanity brands can get lots of traffic, they can get lots of engagement, lots of attention, but the problem is that they are chasing attention without the process to turn that attention into actual revenue. So you'll see a lot of people posting funny stuff, posting provocative stuff, posting things that don't really have any consequence to their business, but they might get tons of engagement, tens of thousands of likes and impressions and da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? But it isn't clear what they're offering and how they work with people. It isn't focused on a specific audience. It has a very inconsistent message, a very inconsistent approach, and it doesn't make money. So when you see somebody with 150,000 followers and all the likes you probably could dream and imagine, don't assume that likes, impressions and comments equals cash, because it doesn't. I've talked to many people who have huge followings, big followings, followings you would envy, followings I flipping envy, right? But when I talk to them, they're not making any money. They're struggling to get by. Some of them haven't made money in months and are living off a partner's salary, but they've got all this attention. That's a vanity brand because they're not making an impact with the right people, the people who need their help. And you can see this. There's nothing wrong with sharing personal content on LinkedIn, but if that's all you're doing, you're attracting the wrong crowd. There's nothing wrong with sharing motivational quotes on LinkedIn, but if that's all you're doing, you'll build the wrong crowd. There's nothing wrong with sharing funny clips that you've downloaded from TikTok, but if that's all you're doing, you'll get the wrong crowd. And the theory is if I get lots of attention, it will obviously turn into customers. It's not true. It isn't true. There's a story, you can Google it, of an influencer with 2 million followers, and she tried to launch her own t-shirt brand with her 2 million followers. She sold 36 t-shirts. 36. Influence doesn't equal money. So that's why I'm saying be careful, because actually I'll be straight with you. It is very addictive. Those likes, those comments, those followers, it's flipping addictive. That's why social media has thrived for more than a decade now. It's addictive. And we get those likes and we feel all warm and cuddly inside. But if it doesn't make us money, at some point we have to go, what we're doing isn't working. So that's what a vanity brand is. It's a vanity brand will outperform in terms of all of the stats of impressions, likes, comments, all of the external things. A vanity brand can outperform a profitable personal brand, because a profitable personal brand does not need thousands of followers. It doesn't need thousands of likes. It doesn't need any of that stuff. You just have to be known and be seen as the go-to expert in your customer's world. So if you have potential market of, 500 customers, and you're the go-to expert in their world, you will make an absolute fortune. But if you've got 10,000 or 50,000 or 1 million followers, but most of them are not your customers, you will be broke. It's really straightforward. So a vanity brand will get lots of attention, but make no impact on business numbers. So this is just a little understanding of where you could appear. Now, a vanity brand and an influencer aren't necessarily the same thing. I'm just saying that vanity brands are very common on LinkedIn. Hi, Paul. Hi, Annette. Hi, Terry. Hi, Rafaela. Hi, Alison. Please do ask questions in the chat if there's any questions, or if I missed something and you think, I really love to know about this, please do ask it in the chat. Lucy, yes, if you, everybody, and I think this is true of everybody to some extent, right? I think everybody looks at their social platform and we have this comparison where it's not quite as big as somebody else's. And it is a human frailty of comparison that we compare ourselves to other people. And the problem is we compare it against the wrong metrics. Am I happy? Am I making the money to live the way I'm choosing? Am I making an impact and doing something that makes a difference and it feels like I'm making a difference? If that's what you've got, enjoy it. If you want to do more of that, great, that's the mission. But if you're looking at somebody else's metrics, it can be soul destroying, because we're looking at external metrics to try and basically throw ourselves under a bus and beat ourselves up. Scott, how long does it take to build a brand? Really good question. It depends how many people you're trying to do it with, and importantly, how narrow or broad you are building that brand. So if you're trying to build quite a broad personal brand, it will take a long time. If you're going to build a very narrow personal brand, it can be relatively quick, inside 3 or 4 months, but it requires real focus, like real focus. And this is kind of what I'm going to talk about now. I'll just check if there's any other questions. Death Before Decaf and Rafaela's got a question. So what if your LinkedIn connections are past clients or colleagues? How do you target future clients? How can they find you? Right. Death Before Decaf, I'm going to tackle that in the content and I've got 5 keys to growing your personal brand, and one of them is that. So I'm not going to touch it now because I'll go all over the place, but I will come to that question. Rafaela, what are the key steps to do so someone can move from vanity brand generic to a bit more unique voice? Rafaela, I'm going to do that now. So the first thing is, right, where are you right now? So where are you on this scale? Some of you might say, I'm not even on the scale, but that's okay, right? The question is, where are you right now and where do you want to be? But before I tackle this, fear might be holding you back. And the reason why fear might be holding you back from really building that profitable personal brand is this: FOMO. FOMO, right? And go with me here. I've met so many people who struggle with this one point, that you're in your desire to grow your business, in the desire to get more customers and clients, what you actually do is you're so afraid of missing out that you refuse to focus. Anybody ever had that feeling? I tell you what, I've had that so many times, where I've been so afraid or worried that if I focus here, I'll lose this. So what I do is I try to appeal to all of this and end up coming out wishy-washy. I'll tell you something, right? Real honest from me. My business got built by being good on LinkedIn, right? Started as a marketing consultancy, started to grow because we got really good at LinkedIn in terms of getting results, understanding the platform, helping people make money, all of that stuff. We got really good at it. But for 4.5, 5 years, I was like, yeah, but think of all the business we're missing out on because we're focused on LinkedIn. Think of all the business and then at some point I just had to go, sod it, I'm going all in on LinkedIn. And suddenly my business became even more exciting, even more dynamic, and we started to win more business because we were focused. And so some of you watching me today will have this FOMO where you're so afraid of losing out over here, and so you don't focus over here, and so you don't win anything. You struggle to penetrate any market because you're so afraid. That fear could be holding you back. That fear could be stopping you moving forward. The fear of, if I focus here, I'll lose all this. If I do this one thing, and I'll just give you the story. When I decided we were going to go all in on LinkedIn, we did, and we do it now, we do an event in a different city, 30, 45 cities, different events in the UK alone on LinkedIn. 45 events. And then we do these every week. We're coming back every Friday, so you can sign up for our newsletter and you can see all the dates and info and what have you. So we do 48-ish of these a year. We did them, we had a little ease off last year, but we did 40 odd last year. We're going to do 48 of them this year, plus 45 events or something like that, 45 events in person this year, all about LinkedIn. My fear of focus would have said, well, let's talk about something else. Let's broaden it out. But my fear of losing out was the thing that stopped me focusing. So let's just look at this for a moment, right? It's not to say that being a bit broader, you can't build a platform. It's just very expensive, very time consuming to build a kind of influencer model where you've got broader appeal and bigger reach and a bigger footprint. And then you go a bit further down the road and you go to the extreme of that, which is niche, yeah? So that's where it's like very narrow, right? I'd argue that going very narrow, and I'll tell you this for an example. In the pandemic, we had this strange scenario. We got lots of people coming to us who had built their business model in a very niche market, that the market totally evaporated, just disappeared. And they were like, what do we do now? We've been known for this very niche area of the market for years, and now we're kind of pinned down and our customer base is gone. So niche can be the quickest way to make an impact and build a personal brand. There's no denying that. That's just true. So the more niche you go, so like I'm a zero accountant for tech startups, that's going to make more of an impact in the tech startup community. You're going to make more of an impact in that community than just a zero accountant. So when you start to build your personal brand and you start to rest it on a particular, and we'll talk about Biomotivations and building your personal brand on a Biomotivation in a second. Excuse me. But when you start to dig in and go really narrow, that narrowness can help you punch through the noise better, but it can also be a box that you can a corner you can back yourself into. So what I encourage people to do is probably go, instead of niching, go more expert driven. And that's a little bit broader than a niche, but not kind of influencer space. And this is where you would go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on a buyer motivation and a topic or a main offering. So zero accountant for startups, for an example, would be another one. Zero accountant in the tech sector. So there's some narrowness, but it's not completely down into a corner where it's very specific. So you do lose some relevance, but you have a slightly wider appeal. So I encourage people, don't go for the influencer thing. There's only so many people who can be influencers anyway. Niche could be a risk if there's market volatility, which there is. But an expert position can actually cross a few different sectors and verticals. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do. But you need a process. In other words, you need to build this down. I'm going to talk about Biomotivations in a moment and how you build a personal brand on Biomotivations. You need a very clear service offering, right? Again, FOMO, fear of missing out, might mean you want to offer lots of things. For the first 3-4 years of me drilling down, all I sold was one thing. For 4 years, I sold one thing. Pandemic came, it changed a few things, but 4 years, it was one thing. I had one thing to sell and that was it. And that's where our huge growth came from. We really grew in that period from selling one thing. And then I built the audience of who needs that one thing. And I crafted a message around the buyer motivations. By message, I mean the company's message, the content, I mean everything we stand for, the name of the product, what the product and service did, and then implemented a process to sell that. And we had, in the first year of focusing, we had 5,000 customers, 5,000. The year before, it was like 200, yeah, 5,000. No ads, by the way. And at this point, when I'd first gone all in on LinkedIn, I had 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. So all of that growth has come from focusing on a key thing, but not niching down, staying just broader than niche. So we need to build our buyer motivations. We need to understand why our buyers buy, because if we factor that into our personal brand, if we build that in, we have higher relevance to people. So, Steve, I missed you in Miami, by the way. I know you were coming, but I don't think you made it the second time. Alpha Design, 80-20 principle applies here. Sometimes 20% of the work can yield 80% of the result. Yeah, in other words, focusing, you can capture a lot more than by trying to be broad. So Pareto principle absolutely applies, that actually 20% of your subject matter, 20% of your expertise is going to make you 80% of your money. Think about it like that. But because we are experts at what we do, and you're an expert at what you do, we want to focus on, this is not a full picture of me. And that's a really frustrating thing. It's not a full picture of me. So the dimension of Dean is, I know a lot about email marketing, I know a lot about Facebook, I know a lot about Instagram, I know a lot about website stuff, I know a lot about copy, I know a lot of things about a lot of stuff. Which is infuriating for me, because actually I choose to put a label on myself and I'm wearing the LinkedIn badge. Does that badge truly say who I am and what I'm capable of? No, it doesn't. And that's a frustration we all have to kind of live with and settle, that actually that LinkedIn badge is mine. Even though I would love to be hired to consult with a company on their whole marketing strategy, but I know if I start splitting my message, I confuse people, or I drift into the noise, when if I focus on this bit, I penetrate the market. So it's frustrating, but you have to put that label on yourself. So here's a lovely car, one I'd love to never drive. I always think if I could get a Rolls-Royce, right, it's the car you would never drive, right? It's the car you want to own but never drive. But let's think about this from a buyer motivation point of view, right? There are many reasons why people buy Rolls-Royces. One is obviously they've got a lot of money, but there's a lot of reasons why people buy Rolls-Royces. Some of it is actually, a straightforward one is they love the cars. They're a product junkie. They love the cars. They've always loved the car. I absolutely love Range Rovers. Range Rover Sports are like, oh, such a beautiful car. I'd buy one, except for their build quality's been, I'm not sure, but I've heard the build quality isn't great these last couple of years. But some people would buy a Rolls-Royce just because they want a Rolls-Royce. Yeah, they love them. Some people will buy it to make a status. Some people will buy it for status. They want to show the world. They want to show the world that they've made it. Some people would want to buy it to be accepted into a club, or they're showing their identity. They're aligning their identity with others in their network. So people buy things for lots of reasons. People buy things for people. My classic is Lamborghini. Why does somebody buy a Lamborghini? It's not because they love going to Tesco in it. They buy it. Some people buy it because they love Lamborghinis. Some people buy it because they want to run it on a track and they want to go fast. Some people buy it because they want to show the world. They want to show off a bit. Some people want to show off to themselves. So what I'm trying to get at is every topic, every industry will have what in the marketing world we call segments. And these people will buy for different reasons. And what we try and do is go, this is my market, this is my decision maker, now I'm going to talk. No, think about what the buyer motivations are and build them in to your business. So for an example, and build them into your brand. For an example, these are some of the types of buyer motivations. Fear, right? Insurance is basically fear. Yeah, worried about what might happen. Need, an essential, want, a desire, impulse, they're just crazy impulse buyers and that's what they do. 80% of us do that at supermarket shelves. We just pick things up. We had no intention of buying. In a business environment, impulse is not a good business model, simply because you can get a lot of buyer regret. And you see this in kind of the industry I operate in. People sell training courses and stuff, and they build it up and egg it up and ramp it up and get people really excited. And of course, what happens is they buy something and then go, oh, I didn't feel like, once they paid the money, they didn't feel the same way. And so what happens is you get buyer regret. So it's very dangerous to play in the impulse world. And impulse often plays on fear of missing out. It plays on urgency. So there's only 4 left. All of those things it plays on, and it's just dangerous. Aspiration is a really healthy one. Lots of our luxury brands play on aspiration. Businesses that want to grow and thrive. And that's different, by the way, from businesses who want to make money. There's a difference. People who want to make money and people who want to grow, there's a slightly different. You can have a company that wants to be X in 5 years and wants to make money. And you can have a company who just really wants to make money. And so they're the same, but the motivation is slightly different. It's about how the decision maker looks at the problem and the challenge and the opportunity. Yes, Inan, yes, you sit in the back seat if you buy a Rolls-Royce. Yes, Linda, what I'm saying is, I'll just flick back to the slide. Down here, right, and I'll give you an example in real time. Down here, you have people who are talking to a very narrow audience about a very specific problem. So it's like a narrowing of narrowness, niche. It does work and it is effective. I'm not saying it isn't, but you can find yourself backed into a corner. And I'll give you an example. I know some people in my space who were LinkedIn gurus, similar to me, but they were very much in hospitality and leisure sector. And what happened? They built this reputation up with hotels and resorts and all these places. And then the pandemic comes and that market just evaporates. When that market evaporates, think about what happens. You end up in a position whereby, now I'm in a space whereby the market that I was serving has vanished or has been exhausted or is turning a different way. And I've built myself as the expert in that market. So I'll give you the equivalence of Dean becomes a LinkedIn trainer and a LinkedIn guru for the cryptocurrency sector, right? I don't know whether I might be in jail if I do that. But cryptocurrency, right? Let's say I was in that space. That space has taken a hammering over the last 12 months, right? So a lot of that money that was there has dried up. But if I'd have owned that, my LinkedIn network is full of people in the crypto world, but now they have no need or no budget for my skill set. So I've put myself in a box. So what I'm saying is just budge yourself out of the box a bit, be a little broader where you're speaking to a buyer motivation about what you do. So I focus on people who want to sell and make money from LinkedIn and through their business. I'm not giving people business opportunities on LinkedIn. It's like, you've got a business, you're a salesperson. I will help you hit your sales target. I will help a company hit their sales target, or I'll help a solopreneur or small business hit their revenue targets on LinkedIn. That's what I do. So I don't have a LinkedIn recruiter course. I don't have a LinkedIn job search course. Could I do them? Probably. I don't have any training that's on how to become a LinkedIn influencer, because that's not what I'm about. I am focused on how do I help people make money on LinkedIn in their business, in their profession. Whereas you could have I'm a LinkedIn profile expert. So I'm saying stay just the broad side of niche and be the expert rather than the influencer on the other side. So expert, not influencer. They're different. So you've got to build a process, you know, what you're selling, to who, what's the message, now what's my process. So the personal brand is what we're going to look at in the process today. I use this model in pretty much everything I do because it's a model that works if you can put it into any situation and it will engineer a solution. So we build on Biomotivations, as I said. There's lots of Biomotivations, and the more you do your research on your customers, the more you do it, the more you'll find the motivations. For some people, the motivation might be something completely off the list, but you're looking, Alison wants to be an expert. That's great. What do you have to put on your personal page? Right. We've got lots of practical questions, but you need to do the research to find the motivations that a group of businesses actually resonate with. What's the resonance of their buyer motivation? In other words, do I want to save time? Do I want to make money? All of those different motivations. Pick a couple of those and center your business and personal brand on those. So it's the motivations coupled with your topic and subject matter expertise, and you bolt those two together. So whenever I do a post, I'm doing my LinkedIn tips in the light of you want to sell more. You want to win clients. That's my area. That's what I do. That's what Maverick does. So that's what I focus on. So my content is informed with, and my brand is being built on my topic and subject matter expertise and the buyer motivation rammed and jammed together. You can pick a couple of buyer motivations, but what you don't want to do is mess with too many topics because you'll confuse people. Yeah. So you want people to quickly know this person, this Dean, he helps people make money for their business, in their business on LinkedIn. That's all I want to be known for. And if that happens, guess what? I make a lot of money. And the same is true for you. Your topic, a couple of key buyer motivations, jam that together, and then we put it into our business. That's how we build a profitable personal brand. Just to say, by the way, we have some resources on personal branding, and we're going to be doing a mini course on personal branding, this personal branding, in the next few weeks. So if you want to know about that, drop us an email, hi@maverick.io. If you want a copy of these slides, email us, hi@maverick.io. Send us an email. We'll send you the slides, and we'll send you more details about the personal branding for LinkedIn mini course we're going to put together and put out. So topic, subject matter expertise, and your buyer motivations jammed together becomes your personal brand. So what do we do with this now? What are the 5 things that we need to do to really be successful? And this is where I answer some of the questions we had in the chat. Yeah, no more questions at the moment. I think I'm caught up. So I'm going to roll these through because we've got to finish in 20 minutes and I want to leave some time for questions. Number 1, you've got to sort out your profile. You've got to make it all about your personal brand, all about your subject matter expertise and your buyer motivations. Jam them together. If you need help with this, by the way, Wednesday, we did an online 90-minute masterclass with about 100 people, and we told them how ChatGPT and showed them how ChatGPT could help them do this really quickly and give them the baseline material. It'll help you write the buyer persona. It'll help you put all that together. I think you can get access to it. There is a fee for it, but you can drop us an email. I think the email's on screen. It was 90 minutes and we showed you how to do all of this stuff. Because half the time you sat there for hours trying to think stuff up. It'll churn out stuff to help you think better. So you've got to optimize your profile and lock it in on your buyer motivations, a couple of buyer motivations, and ultimately your subject matter expertise. So you'll see on my LinkedIn profile, it's all about selling LinkedIn, getting clients, winning business, making money on LinkedIn. Not money-making opportunities, helping people with their existing businesses, their existing sales role to hit their quota and make money. So my profile is optimized for that. My LinkedIn featured section is optimized for that. I am a stuck record. I talk about this thing all the time. Why do I do this? Because your perception is I'm saying the same thing all the time. Your audience, your connections don't see everything you do, but you actually want them to come back to you for specific things. So the very thing you might occasionally get a bit bored of sharing, they are lapping up. Now, it's good to put a bit of personal stuff in there. It's good to go a bit off topic every now and then. But if you're all over the show, you're going to confuse people. So your profile should look like, this is what I do. Here it is. Real simple. Everything all the way through from the header or the cover, profile picture down, all the way through the link below. Your featured section, you should be stuck record and be proud of it. That's what you do. If you want something else, if you want to recruit the best talent on LinkedIn, that's not me. If you want to sell stuff on LinkedIn, that's me. Be very clear. Okay, so second thing is, so tip number one, I got my numbers wrong here. Tip number two, rather, awareness content. So this is the content that's going to draw the crowd, right? So this is the content that's going to bring the right people to you. So this is motivational quote, humor, how can you make some fun around your topic, facts, so infographics, anytime you use a graphic that explains something, gets attention. Stories, personal stories, stories from experience, really good. Polls about topics, your topics and your biomotivations. And what I call light bulb moments. Now, light bulb moments are the hardest thing for me to explain in a quick soundbite, but there are things that you know, and there's information that you know that you take for granted that you can give to your audience and explain something, and suddenly everything makes sense. I learned this quite a while ago, but if people don't understand the importance of something, they won't understand the value of it either. So I used to tell people, oh, you have to post on LinkedIn every day. And I made the fatal error of not telling them why. Why does that matter? So light bulb content is about telling people why it matters. As soon as I told people it takes somewhere between 8 to 21 touch points to win a client through content and outreach, they suddenly understood, actually, if I'm posting every day, I'm giving out touch points to hundreds, potentially thousands of people every day, every single day. If I do one post a week and I don't put any effort into it, what touch points am I giving? And suddenly people understood the importance of how content can build your brand, but also influence your customers at scale. Company profile. Company pages, right. Personal brands obviously will have more impact. That's just the way it works. Humans love to engage with people. They're not so hot on engaging with brands. That's why you see brands with very big followings. They do well, but their engagement rate's usually lower than if you compared a personal brand and a company brand, and they had same followers, same everything, same content, you'll probably see that the personal brand would actually perform better because humans like to engage with humans. So it's good to have a company page because it encourages people to see you as more credible, but it's not going to, unless you make a serious investment into that page, by that I mean time, content, energy, maybe even money, you're not going to see the same return that you would if you invest that time, money and energy, or time, energy and whatever into a profile. So it's good to have one from a credibility piece. It shows you're taking your business seriously. And so it adds just that little more to the perception and to the trust piece. But it's not going to be a game changer from a selling point of view to do it through your company page. So I'm out of sync. So you're going to get 6 tips here because I missed the first one. So number 2 is nurture content. So nurture content This is where you can really start to educate people and they start to really see your expertise. So this is the content that will actually educate your audience and help them really go, wow, this person's got a lot to share. So this is where you actually explain things like mistakes that people might be making. It's where you help bust myths. And these are just some examples. Myths that people might believe about your topic, your subject matter, or the types of services you offer. And so you start to bust them. Successes, things that have happened to people, not quite testimonials here, but stories and examples of things you've been doing and how they've paid off. They're really useful. Comparison posts, wow. Now these are killers. These types of posts really do perform, where you start to compare and show the difference between two different things. They start to make a massive difference. You see this in the fitness world, but imagine if you did that between different books, different resources, different ideas, different approaches, different dimensions. You start to compare the two and tell people what the differences are, and they're really good for getting conversations going. People love to comment and share which one they prefer as well. So comparison posts really make a difference. Actionable posts. Now, I've got to pick up the pace here. I've only got 14 minutes left. So if I don't get everything out, drop us an email. We'll send you the slides. I've got a personal branding mini course we're bringing out in the next week or so. So if you want details on that, email us too. And I'm going to pick up the pace a bit so I try and get through as much as I can. Now, actionable posts are one of the most powerful types of posts they do in terms of cementing your expertise in the customers' and clients' minds. This kind of post will, not just one, but a few of them over a period, will really cement your personal brand into somebody else's world. Why? Because when you give somebody something to do, they really love it and they retain that information. On Instagram, actionable posts, we don't do saves on LinkedIn quite the same as Instagram. We can save posts, but it's not a thing that people tend to do as much on LinkedIn. Actionable posts get the most saves on Instagram. Yep. And these are where you tell people, do this, do this, do this, do this. You're confident in telling people, try this, try this, try this. And it's practical. So if you were an accountant, you might give people 4 or 5 tips of things that they didn't know about Xero. And you tell them, not information, but things they could do and utilize. 6 hacks to accelerate Xero. 1, 2, 3. They cement your expertise. Now you might think, I'm really knowledgeable. I'm a big expert in my field. Why would I share basic tips and actions like that? Because your clients are not the experts. Your clients are novices. You are educating novices and showing them that you're the expert by giving them, it's a patronizing way of saying it, but I'll say it this way. Your clients are babies and you're an adult. You've been through their journey. You've had to go through their struggles. You know how to overcome their struggles because you've got experience. But if you, through your content, decide to start giving babies adult meals, they won't appreciate it like they would milk. I know that's a really patronizing way of saying it, but this is one of the challenges you'll have, is you've got to break your knowledge down and give them actionable and insightful things. And very often we go, oh, I'm frightened of doing that. What if they do it without me? Just share the simple stuff that will help them, but is only a fraction of what you know. Simple stuff. So actionable posts really make a difference. If there are any tools that help you in your journey, in your experience, that could help them, share them. These are ones that really cement your expertise into somebody's world and get them start to appreciate. On Instagram, they're also the biggest cause of follower growth as well. Now, LinkedIn is a bit different, but they cause big following growth. Nurture content can actually cement people in following too. But the actionable posts have massive impact for your personal brand. They're hard to think of, takes a little time because you go, what can I do now? But you have to do these if you want to cement your brand. That's where the expertise starts to come in. When people go, you really know this topic. You've just shown me some things that I can do. This is great. And the learning experience is cemented in them because they go and do something. One quick way you can tell whether you're giving people something useful, really quick. The quick way to do it, I'll check if we've got some more questions in a second. Jason's got a question. I'll come to Jason's question in a minute. If you're putting content out, I'll tell you what, let me do Jason's question first. Does content type matter? Yes, it does, right? I can tell you confidently that the best types of content, the easiest types of content to get traction on LinkedIn are principally taller things. So Jason's saying about text, video, or images. Text is short. If you put a text only post, it's small. But if you put an image on it, it gets bigger. It takes up more space in the feed. So an image with a relevant graphic on there or something will make a huge difference. The image is a big draw, so images do well. Videos, excellent. Videos are very good. Again, do the video as tall as you can. So if you did a TikTok style dimensions, it would actually do better. The other thing is PDFs or carousels are very good on LinkedIn. I do a lot of them. Not as many as I used to. I need to up my game on them. I've got into a kind of image funk lately, so I need to do a bit more work on those. But images, massive difference. So images, videos, polls, PDFs, things that take up more space in the feed and are more visual help your text. So yes, so actionable posts. And this is what I was going to say before I go to the next slide, because I've got 3 more to do of these. Actionable posts. Think about it like this. If somebody will write down what you say, you've done a good job. So when you say actionable posts, imagine, will this get people to write it down to try on their task list or their to-do list? If they could put what you put in that post on their to-do list, you've done a good job. So always think about like that. Have I given them something to do and put on their to-do list? Or they want to try it straight away? If it's not something they will put on their to-do list or try, it's not actionable. It's not actionable. Conversion content or convert content. So this is I'm going to have to go through this really fast because we've got 4 minutes left or 5 minutes left. Conversion content. So this is about creating posts around the objections, social proof, explaining the reasons why they should buy this or why your service is so powerful. Sneak peeks, behind the scenes, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is some of the things that you can do inside my program, my service, my app, whatever. And the one everybody forgets when they're trying to up their content game, I'll tell you quickly, when people try and up their content game, they start sharing all this value and they forget one post. The flipping promotional post. Tell people what you do, how they can buy, why it matters, the difference it makes. One post a week, hit people and say, this is it. Why? Because you need to educate people so that they see the product, they see the service a few times so it makes them more familiar with it. Will you get a flood of sales off one promotional post? Well, funny enough, I got a message from somebody who said that happened to them. But the norm is they have to see it multiple times. So one post, you hit people between the eyes and say, hey, this is what I do. This is how I can help you. And this is how you get in touch. One a week. Danger is you pivot off, you start talking about all these topics. People go, wow, Dean's great. Have no idea what Dean can do for them. And so doing one of those posts once a week can make a difference. Right. Next one is, right, ignore my numbers. Ignore my numbers. I can't count. Email list, right? LinkedIn is the most powerful tool to build an email list fast. You can build an email list that grows between 200 and 1,000 people per month if you have the right processes in place. Why does an email list matter? Well, simply put, an email list matters because You don't want to be vulnerable to algorithms. As much as I love LinkedIn, as much as I love social media, those whole platforms are evolving and changing every single day. And so I could be flavor of the month today, and then some algorithm changes and I'm invisible, but my email list still exists. So if I suffer from a dip in something because of the platform, the platform changes, they decide to do things differently, I've still got an email list to build off of. So email list is really important. One of the ways to do this, sorry, there's a glitch on screen here, is lead magnets. So we have a course that we do with people and we help them build a lead magnet in 6 weeks, launch it and start getting downloads and leads. We do it in 6 weeks. It's fast, it's scary, but it's a quick go-to-market strategy. Now, you might not get loads in one go. When I put one out, I can get some on my profile, get some quite quickly, but it's a great way to start attracting people or converting your network who are resonating with your message and your Biomotivations, and then they come in and pay attention. And you'll notice, now you're starting to notice, my profile, my content, everything I do is riddled with Biomotivation. Everything, right? So email list. So if you go to my profile on LinkedIn, you'll see I posted this earlier. You can download it for free. It's on my LinkedIn profile right now. So email list is the important one. And number 5, which is something somebody said a few minutes ago, is build and engage your network, right? Build and engage your network. Somebody's just asked on one of the platforms here, if you drop us a line on email and say, how do I build my email list from LinkedIn? Our guys will give you some tips and they'll tell you about the upcoming course where we'll help you build it in 6 weeks. Build a whole email funnel to build your email list and generate leads. So drop us an email, hi@maverick.io, and we'll send it to you. Final one, I've got 3 minutes. Here we go. So how do you build and engage your network? Number 1, you should be using your 100 connections every single week. 100 connections every single week you should be using. So that means connecting, engaging with them, thanking them for connecting. Let them see your content. You don't have to pitch people. Let them see your content. Engage with their profiles so they come and look at your profiles. 51% of people will review content of their connections. 51%. So if you start engaging with people, they will start looking at you and your content, and that's a way to get your content in front. It is a bit of a struggle to get going at first, so you might feel like I'm putting content out and it's getting nowhere, and that's perfectly natural that that happens. But then when you go and engage, you might have to go on a prolific engagement game for a couple of months, right? But once you've got that going and people coming back to you, it kind of gets its own momentum. And think about it like momentum. I've got 10,000 connections, but I get no likes or no comments. I get 1 like and it's my mum, right? Go outbound and engage with the people who are the right people for you. Love bomb them, as we would say. And some of those people will come pay attention to your content and then say, this is actually quite interesting. And then they might put a comment. And so a little bit of reciprocity can get things moving. If you're having to do that 2-3 months down the line, of course you can continue to do it, and it's a good thing to do from a sales point of view. But if you're having to do it to get your content going, it's kind of like there's some tweaks we need to do to the content to really get it to move. So build and engage your network. Okay, so I've got a few minutes for questions before I jump off. So a couple of things that you might want to do if you want to take action from today. Number 1, I can send you a copy of the slides. So email us if you want a copy of the slides. Number 2, we've got a mini course on the personal branding. What we've done here, some more practical steps. So drop us a line if you want that. If you want to talk to our team about how we can help you accelerate your LinkedIn success and get you more wins from LinkedIn, you can email us and ask for that. Come follow me on LinkedIn. That'd be nice. Come find me on LinkedIn. If you've enjoyed this session, you got value from this session, tell people, please. That would be great. Even if you don't need anything from us, the return of the favor of sharing our content or liking a post or writing a Google review or something like that, or following our company page could be awesome. So we appreciate that. Next week, we're back again with another session, slightly different topic. But again, you can come to it for free. You can ask as many questions as you like, because we want to help 1 million businesses grow and we want to help people win on LinkedIn. So questions? Questions? Any more questions? Peter, how do you love bomb 10,000 connections? You can't. You can't. And here's the real killer thing. For you to get your posts going, for you to get momentum on your content, it's about 10 people you need. It's 10 people to genuinely find your content interesting. So what happens is, as people engage with your content, LinkedIn starts to amplify your content, so more people see it. And there is a thing, by the way, that if you have no comments and somebody sees it, people are less likely to comment. So what I'd encourage you to do, just guys, if you're in the chats here, don't put your chat in don't put your email in the chat. Send an email to us and we will send you the details. So you send an email to hi@maverick.io and we'll send you the details. So Peter's question, how do you love bomb 10,000? You don't. You have to get 10 to 50 people engaged, and they will give you the momentum. So what I'd suggest, Peter, is just work on, say, 50 people who are the right people. Make sure that they're on the platform regularly. Go look at their activity and see how often they post and how often they comment, because you don't want to do it to people who are erratic, because you need to get the momentum. Make sure they're the right people for you. Make sure they're active and engage with them consistently, so that they reciprocity kicks in and they go and look at your post and decide to help you out and decide to comment on your post. But the key is to make your posts relevant to them, so they want to comment and they want to like, and you make it easy for them to comment and easy for them to like. In other words, you design your content so that it's easy to engage with. And that's a skill. It's a skill we teach in our content training, about how you make your content easy to engage with. You don't get it right every time, but you need to get it right 3 out of 5 times. So 60% of the time, if you want to stay visible, you have to get it right. Otherwise, if you don't get engagement, you become progressively less visible. Lucy, is it worth purposely putting controversial posts out there to get engagement? I have mixed views on this, right? We know that, I'll give you the thing. We know that controversial stuff gets engagement. That's true. The problem is, and I've struggled with this because there's some things I'd love to do on LinkedIn, and I know that it will alienate me from some of my more corporate clients. So I have to straddle a line where I play a little bit with controversy, but I can't push it too far, because in a corporate world, people don't want to take risks. And this is the balance you have to wade, is you do not want to be seen as risky, because what happens if they engage you and you become a liability. So it absolutely is correct that controversial content can work, but if you push too far with it, you will alienate some of the more risk-averse customer demographics. And generally speaking, the bigger the company, the more risk-averse the decision maker is. What if this person says something? What if this person posts something and my boss sees it? So you have that scenario. But weirdly enough, the controversial content will attract a lot of those people, or it will attract a lot of decision makers who like to play with controversy, but they won't hire controversy. It's so funny. Yeah. Somebody told me this, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said to me, everybody laughs with the jester, but the jester never becomes king or queen. Yeah. And the point they're making is, sometimes there's content that will get you engagement, but it will actually hinder your ability to gain authority. So just bear that in mind. So that was a long answer to maybe. Email list is absolutely paramount. Absolutely paramount. So I think we're done. So guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope this has been of value. Remember, drop us an email if you want any of the resources, the slides, the replay, and if you want our help, special email for that. And if you don't need anything, go love bomb us, please. That'd be great. So, Lucy's post things that actively repel people I don't want to work with. Just want to see if that's worth it. Lucy, you can try that, but I would think about it differently, right? I like the sentiment of actively repel, but I think it's better to actively attract. So simply what I do is I focus on my biomotivations, I focus on who they are, what they are, and I produce content for them and let those people come to me. I'm not worried about the irrelevant people, I'm just talking to the right people. But I think the active repel, it sounds good, but what that basically means is just talk to your target client. Just talk to who they are, talk to their problems, talk to their pain points. That's the easiest way to do it. But I get the sentiment, but what it basically means is focus on your buyer motivations and focus on who the buyer is and your subject matter, and you're good. Yeah, cool. Right, I'm going to go. Thank you so much again. Do all the wonderful stuff. I appreciate you. And I'll be here next week for another live session.
Dean's strategy helped me find clients. I created clients for my business with this program. It works.
My connections have grown, my reach has grown, my views have grown, and actually so has my business revenue. Over that 3-month period, I have actually signed up 3 new clients at a cost of £50,000. That's over just the 3-month period. So it's worth it.
Every single time there's a session, I just feel like it's just a golden moment. Every single session brings me something really new and really valuable, and I've started to attract high value client sales, which is wonderful, and it's really given our business a boost.
Dean Seddon and the Maverick team, what can I say? Apart from absolutely awesome.
The results have been amazing. We have had loads of incoming leads coming into our lead funnels and workflow processes on our website. And we've also built a really successful community around the content that we produce and push out into our LinkedIn channels. My team has also learned a lot from working with the team at Maverick, and they've also helped us really create fantastic events on LinkedIn.
I'm much more confident, and all of that, without a shadow of doubt, is down to the work and the training and support I've had from Dean and the rest of his team as part of the Accelerator course.
In terms of the training, Maverick have been absolutely fantastic. They've been so supportive. They've talked me through all the stages of what you have to do, why you have to do it, the benefits of doing it the way they tell us to do it. And I've gone from being with no social media to being actually addicted, because I can see what this can do for lead generation, generating new business. It's just been incredible, and Maverick have been superb throughout the whole process.
The guys at Maverick, they've been great. Dean and his team, very knowledgeable, wealth of experience, and we've had quite a few one-to-ones now that really taught us the depths, the nooks and crannies of LinkedIn, which none of us would have known before, and I think we can continue to use that going forward, and it's been great so far, and I hope to continue to use it as well.